Well, you should have one in the handout. You should have one that you've written down for yourself. First of all, knowledge issue. What is the knowledge issue that Sir Kenneth Robinson outlines in this little discussion?
It was saying kind of like that they disable like children by giving them boring stuff and then not having, like kids not having confidence and saying, oh, if I go to college, I could actually get a job that's worth paying for, and then they shut down kids like mentally, and so they're not involved or in tune, and so they do bad in tests and whatever like that.
Okay, so those are the things that he's laying out as problems. What is the knowledge issue? To condense it into one issue to entertain.
Education is broken, and that it's not actually like a good system for pumping out people who are creative and are innovative, but more of a dulled labor force.
Okay, so what is the knowledge issue embedded in that?
Education.
Educational reform, right? Okay, and what were the reasons? Because, I mean, yeah, he wasn't exactly speaking favorably of education, was he?
No.
How many people felt like some of what he said really rang true to your experience?
That's exactly how I think, though.
Okay. Okay. So then what problems do we need to fix, according to Sir Kenneth Robinson? Go ahead.
We need to diversify education.
How so?
By offering all kinds of opportunities and abilities to learn, and not necessarily limiting someone to a certain project, but rather following the student themselves and understanding where they lie and what they need, and just a better relationship with the student.
Focus more on the student. What about the system seemed to be not allowing that to happen?
There's only one right way to do everything.
Okay, there's one right answer. Right? What did you say, Bree?
All based on age.
You're grouped by age, even though plenty of developmental research says that age has very little influence on your development, that everyone develops in different capacities at different times. Good. What else? Go ahead.
We all are like capable of learning, and like from kindergarten, like they were all like classified as like geniuses. Like we're all capable of doing that. It's just like how, as we age, how that happens.
Okay, when it comes to divergent thinking, considering multiple solutions to a problem, you're better at it when you're 5 than you are when you're 10. And the one thing that was the same for all those kids is that they were being educated. So the scary thing about that is it seems as though the capacity for problem solving is educated out of you, which is really, how many of your teachers would say, yeah, that's why I got into education, to narrow my students' minds? None. I would venture to say none. But, I mean, if you look at the way things are going, it seems to be happening. Okay? So those are things right away. These are things that can be changed. What else did he bring into this discussion? Go ahead.
He talked about the entire ideology that the system is built on is outdated. It was based on the Enlightenment perspective that came along a long time ago.
17th century train of thought is what began this idea of public education. Good, go ahead.
And that was basically it. It's just an outdated system, and it's also geared toward industrialization and things like that. And we're out of the Industrial Revolution now, and we're still clinging to that ideology.
How do they refer to our economy at this point? What do they call it?
Mundane, I guess.
Technological revolution?
Has anyone ever heard either that our economy has become a service economy or an information-based economy?
I heard about that. Citizenship.
It's information-based rather than manufacturing-based. That changes the whole thing. So we're in the middle of a big change. Good.
It's impersonal.
But you brought up that big issue that, hey, this philosophy towards education was developed 200 years ago. More. Go ahead.
We're actually like studying the Industrial Revolution in AP World History.
Awesome.
And like the goal for education was to get kids, like to teach kids how to get into the workforce, like how to work in factories and how to just work to like supply. And like that's like what I think, like when they were saying about it being updated, like that was just the thought process in the Industrial Revolution, and now like it's more like it's going towards like getting your PhD and stuff, but then they said like that, or like getting a degree and that might not even help you now today.
Well, I mean, what a lot of people just a little bit older than yourselves have encountered is their degree doesn't help them in this economy. You know, that's the challenge of it. And even that has changed over the last couple generations. So he's saying these are the things we can change, right? Okay. Cool. Anything else pop into your head as we're entertaining what a knowledge issue is and how this example really reflects how we as thinkers and pursuers of knowledge should entertain them? No? Go ahead, Jake.
Do you think the reason that now a degree doesn't really mean anything is due to the fact that now it's almost expected? It's just like you have to get a degree. I mean, you know, it's almost unheard of now not to go to college, and so as opposed to like back say 50 years ago even, like it was an option. I mean, it was just a thing to graduate high school.
You're asking my personal opinion?
Yeah.
I do think that when you take a certain skill set or a certain academic or educational level and make a lot more people achieve that, there becomes a societal shift, a socioeconomic shift. Absolutely. I think some of the projections I've heard over the last 10 years that many of our top students in the last 10 years, guess what industry they went to? What's that?
Computer science?
No.
The arts,
It'd be better if they did.
manufacturing.
No. Our top
Construction.
academic achievers. So people who are going through to their PhD or, you know, the highest levels within their industries. Guess where they're going? Finance. Tell me that's not crazy.
That's
If you look at the way our economy is working, what happened? You know, and so what you have is industries, you know, changing the way things go. Now, I'm not a sociologist, so I can't confirm that. I don't know all that information. But these are some speculations that I've read. And look at where we're at. So why aren't we reorganizing things to meet that knowledge economy, that knowledge-based economy? Because there's more money to be made in finance. Like I said, I'm not an economist, so I can't confirm that, but these are things that I've read. Go ahead.
I think the level of education, like the college level, needs to kind of adapt to the situation that we've realized that we're in. The finance industry is basically just an industry where people make money by moving money around. And we've suffered a massive collapse due to the financial industry, and still students are flocking into that industry because that's where the money is.
Well, here's the thing. Much like the education reforms are needed, according to Sir Kenneth Robinson, because of the change in the way the world works in the post-industrial era, in the knowledge-based economy, other industries need reform too. You know, and that'd be one of them. So, if we look at your diagram, how many parts of this diagram seem to intersect in his explanation? Name them. Name them. History, ethics, art. Absolutely. Isn't the foundation of his research pretty much founded in math? Statistics? Do you see how a knowledge issue, to gain a full comprehensive understanding of the problems that he's trying to address, you need all of that. Right? And wasn't he playing on our emotions? Doesn't that upset you? To feel like, hey, you know, these are just things that I could be good at, but school doesn't allow me to be. And there might be personal stories that really relate to that. I'm not going to ask you to go into that if you don't want to. But I'm trying to think now when it comes to the ways of knowing. emotion, we talked about that, but he was using statistics to help you reason out, like, why this is an issue. Sense perception, all of you are connecting to what he just said based on your experiences, and you go around, you walk through this school, you know how this school works. And then finally, language. To have a lecture, you must have language to transmit that
Well, and
information.
you wrote it down, so like even if you weren't
Didn't he connect the dots for
listening,
you?
you were like reading. Yeah.
I'm more of an artistic person. Like I see with pictures, and so when someone teaches me with like pictures, I'm like, oh, now I get it.
Who's the knower here?